What's up, and welcome to another episode of Winged Octopus. This is a Winged Octopus special here. We have Jake here. He's a big USA hockey fan. We have Kayla, who is a writer for Winged Octopus as well, and she is a big USA hockey fan. And I, Tyler, am a huge USA hockey fan. Today we're going to preview the 2018 World Junior Hockey Championship. We're going to talk a lot about Team USA. We're going to talk a lot about the tournament itself. You're going to hear voices from everybody here. So how are you guys doing tonight, Kayla and Jake? How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing really well. I'm just excited for this tournament. I can't wait for it to start. Hashtag, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Go Team USA.
And how are you doing tonight, Jake?
I'm pretty good. U.S. has never gone back-to-back in the World Juniors before, so I'm ready for this year for that to happen.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to start the new year with a gold medal around your neck. That's for sure. And I can't believe it's time for the World Junior. So, without further ado, I'm going to kick it off to Kayla to start things off here.
Okay. Well, playing off of what you both have just said, if anyone that follows the World Juniors knows that Team USA won the gold last year, so they are the returning champions. It was a tough struggle to get there, but they won every single game last year, and they had to beat Russia and Canada in a shootout to actually get the gold medal, which was so hard to watch as a fan. I don't know about you guys, but for me, it was just insane. Like I had my eyes closed during half of it because I could not watch. But then when I saw Tyler Parsons, shout out to Chesterfield, Michigan, that's where I work. When I saw Michigan boy Tyler Parsons make that winning gold medal save, it was just everything that you could expect. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to international tournaments in hockey, we all know that we don't do very well when it comes to Olympic stage and the Olympic gold. So all we really have is the World Juniors gold to, give us something to cheer about when it comes, to international hockey. So yeah, I mean, that was like that memory of that winning save that Tyler Parsons made will probably just be in my head until the day I die. What about you, Jake?
Now, U.S. has won 4 gold medals in their history. I did not watch the first one because I was 7 years old, but I watched 2010, 2013, and they were a lot of fun. But I'm thinking about last year, how many close calls there were, not just the shootouts, but we had tough games against Russia and then Canada in the preliminary round, and Switzerland gave us a huge scare in the quarterfinals. Nico Hischier, the new rookie star of the New Jersey Devils, scored 2 goals, and then with like 3 minutes left, he had a chance right in front, and Tyler Parsons stopped it with the glove. We were able to hold on 3-2. And without that, we don't even get the chance to play in the semifinals, much less win the gold medal. So underrated, just like Jeremy Bracco keeping us alive in the shootout last year against Russia. We all remember Troy Terry's 3 goals, but Russia had a 2-1 lead in the shootout in the 5th round, and Jeremy Bracco went 5-hole on Ilya Samsonov to keep us alive. What are your memories, Tyler?
Yeah, my memory sticks out. Obviously, the shootout by Troy Terry and the glove save against, definitely one that stands out. But it's not a memory that stands out for me. I mean, obviously, you could say the save by Parsons and him throwing up his gloves and stunning the Canadians in the Bell Center. But I think the biggest thing I took out of that tournament last year was the ability they had to respond. Point do you think you're coming back when you're down 4-2 in the Bell Center when Team Canada just scored 2 goals and you're down 4-2 after the game was just tied about 2 minutes ago? I think the game's over, and then you score 2 goals and you're right back in it, and you're like, oh my God, we might actually win this. And I think it stands out to me how hard the team fought. that's what I'll take the most out of that last year.
Yeah, I mean, only the second time U.S. has finished undefeated. 2004 was the other.
Yeah.
So you gotta know they did something right.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so without further ado, we're going to move on to the groups here. It's Group A is going to be our group, so Team USA, Team Canada, Team Denmark, Team Slovakia, and Team Finland. And then Group B, you have Russia, Sweden, Czech Republic, Switzerland, and Belarus. To me, it's interesting that USA and Russia finally aren't in the same group. And, Team USA and Canada are still in the same group. It'll be interesting to see Finland in the same group as us.
Yeah, well, Finland didn't have the greatest tournament last year. They didn't make it out of the preliminary round. They almost got relegated. They beat Latvia in 2 games in the relegation round. So Latvia is down. Belarus comes up. Interesting for next year. Last place team goes down. Next year we get a return visit from Kazakhstan, who has not been in the top division of the World Juniors since 2009, which is the year I first started watching the tournament.
Yeah, it's interesting. You see some of those teams that get relegated and come back up, and the one team that really sticks out to me is the team that's here, and I think they're here to stay for a long time, is Switzerland. So it should be real interesting to see Switzerland play, and I feel like that's an upcoming hockey nation.
Sure.
So we're gonna get into the schedule here. First, we're gonna go with the pre-tournament exhibition games. So tomorrow they play Belarus at 7 o'clock. So that's the 20th of December. Actually, right now as we're recording, tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern time. I believe that game is in Jamestown, New York, right?
Yep.
And then Friday, the 22nd, so before Christmas starts, the 22nd against Sweden at 7 p.m., and that's the final cuts will be after that game. And I believe that game is in Jamestown, New York as well.
No, it's in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Oh, it's in Erie, Pennsylvania. Okay, so the home of Connor McDavid's junior team, the Erie Otters.
Yeah, both of those games will be on Hockey TV, the website, which you need a subscription to. I have one. I'm not going to let you use mine. Go get your own, but you should watch it.
Oh, you're no fun, Jake.
Okay, so Kayla, you want to just throw the tournament schedule?
I mean, basically, when the tournament starts, that means the whole entire roster is set and ready to go, and it's time to watch our boys, kick some butt again. It'll be Tuesday, December 26th, Denmark at 8 o'clock Eastern time zone. And then Thursday, we got Slovakia. Team USA faces off against Team Slovakia on the 28th. And then Friday, we got the glorious game that we all love and cannot wait because it's the outdoor game. Is this the first outdoor game? First outdoor game for World Juniors?
For the World Juniors, yeah. There was one at the Senior Worlds in 2010, U.S. and Germany. Actually, U.S. lost that one. Keep going.
Okay. Well, never mind about that game because this game is going to be so exciting. I actually got this day off of work, so it's going to be on the 29th Buffalo against Canada at 3 p.m. So do not miss that game because that is going to be a war. And then to round it all up, Sunday on the 31st, it's Finland, and that's going to be at 4 o'clock.
All right. Yeah, no, those should all be pretty good games. I'm just like everyone else excited for the outdoor game. Now, if we don't finish last in the group, and judging by recent history, we won't, we will advance to the medal round. And because we're the host team, tournaments in Buffalo this year, I'm not sure if that was said, but so I'm saying it now. We get to set our own time schedule, so we already chose the times we wanted to play the games. Quarterfinals will be 8 p.m. on January 2nd. Semis, should we get there, 4 p.m. on January 4th. Gold medal game, should we get there, 8 p.m. January 5th. Just like last year. I don't know. I think this might be the year we can repeat. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, so I don't know if someone's mic's echoing. But as always, you can watch all games on NHL Network with the new commentating team of Paul Severino taking over for Steve Mears as he's gone after 5 straight tournaments. We wish him luck with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Dave Starman, who's been there, he's been a mainstay, and Jill Savage, who I really like. I think she does a really good job with the Team USA. And so I think it'll be interesting. Not everybody has NHL Network. So what I would tell you is get sling.tv. They do a 30-day free trial, and you'll be able to watch the tournament on there free of charge. You just have to have a credit card. And then, you can just cancel the subscription, and there you'll be on your way. You'll be able to watch the tournament on your phone.
If we get to the gold medal game, that will be on NHL.com as well.
They should all be on NHL.com at this point, I think.
2014 and 2015 they were, but
there's no F here. We're going to be at that gold medal game.
As always, guys, watch this tournament. This tournament is one of the best tournaments in sports. I mean, besides the Stanley Cup playoffs, this tournament is probably the best in hockey. And it's really interesting because of the amount of NHL players you end up seeing. I mean, me and Jake were talking before this, prepping for this. The 2013 team that won, you had Galchenyuk, you had Gaudreau, you had Seth Jones, you had Jimmy Vesey, you had JT Miller, the goalie there, John Gibson. And so there's a lot of good players on that Team USA, and they're all in the NHL. And we were talking that Team USA is. They're expected to win now. This isn't just a tournament that you sneak in and you hope to see what happens. No. That's gone. You're expected to win now. So it'll be interesting, guys. Watch this tournament. I'm telling you, you guys won't forget it.
Agree, definitely.
Yes.
So now we're going to get into the roster, and this is where we'll spend most of the rest of our time here tonight. Staff is back. So Bob Motzko from St. Cloud State, the head coach, Greg Brown, the assistant at Boston College, Grant Patelny, the great Minnesota Golden Gopher player and assistant coach as well. He's the Northern Michigan head coach. Then you got Chris Mayotte, the goalie coach at Providence College, and you got the video coach who is Steve Miller. And don't think that the video coach doesn't do anything. He does a tremendous job. They always do. And he's the Ohio State assistant coach. So, Jake, without further ado, I know you want to talk about the players, and I know that's why you're here. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, so we got 27 players as of December 19th. We had one player cut. We'll talk about that later. In goal, you got the returners Jake Ottinger from Boston University, Joseph Wolf from Boston College, as well as a little bit of a surprise pick, Boston Bruins prospect Jeremy Swayman, who's having a very good freshman campaign at the University of Maine. On defense, your returners, Adam Fox from Harvard, Ryan Lindgren from the University of Minnesota. Lindgren unfortunately missed last year's gold medal game with the flu. Also, we have some top NHL prospects. Quinn Hughes out of the University of Michigan. You all are going to love him. We got Mikey Anderson from Minnesota Duluth. We got Scott Perunovich from Minnesota Duluth. We got Dylan Sandberg from Minnesota Duluth. 3 Bulldogs in this tournament. Let's see if they all make it. Phil Kemp from Yale, Riley Walsh from Harvard, and Andrew Peak from Notre Dame rounded out. Up front.
Jake, you sure it's not Harvard?
Yeah, I'm not from Boston. I can't do a Boston accent properly.
Tyler can, but
up front, we got some good players as well. Returners, you got Joey Anderson, another Minnesota Duluth Bulldog. There's Patrick Harper from BU, Kiefer Bellows from the WHL's Portland Winterhawks. They are all returning.
Former BU Terrier.
Yep, former BU Terrier, and scored 2 goals in the gold medal game last year. New faces. We got draft eligible Brady Tkachuk from Boston University. Ryan Paling from St. Cloud State, Motzko's team. Josh Norris from Michigan. All 3 of them are eligible to return next year. Some top level talent. Casey Middlestat, Buffalo Sabres prospect. playing in Buffalo, also attends the University of Minnesota, my favorite school. Logan Brown, who spent time with the Ottawa Senators, now is in the OHL. Kyler Yamamoto spent time with the Oilers earlier this year in the WHL. Max Jones, he gets under your skin. He's from the London Knights of the OHL. There's also Riley Tufte, UMD Bulldog. 5 of those this year. They're like BU from last year. Trent Frederick from Wisconsin. Will Lockwood from Michigan. Hugh McGing from Western Michigan. And Jack Bedini from Harvard. So those are the 27 players currently in contention. Now, Kayla, talk about the returners for a second.
Okay, well, as you just heard some of their names, I'll repeat them. We got 7 returning players this year. We got Jake Ottinger, we got Joseph Wall, we got Adam Fox, Ryan Lindgren, Patrick Harper, Joey Anderson, and Kiefer Bellows. And I just think, well, for one, it's rare to have this many returning players in a tournament like this, like in a tournament like the World Junior Championships. But I think it's going to be a good thing because, I mean, you know, everyone knows that experience usually prevails in tournaments like this. Tournaments are, you know, when you have like a 2-week or a 3-week tournament where you have to win like a certain amount of games, it can be very difficult. So you want to have like those experienced veteran type players that can lead by example. And they know they've been here before. They've been here. They have had to go through the stress of all these games before, and they prevailed. They, you know, they can say, hey, look, we won the gold medal last year. We got this, guys. So, I mean, I think it's just very good that they are all, you know, coming back. Hopefully, I don't see any of them getting cut. You never know though. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing that we have 7 returning players as opposed to, you know, a lesser number, I guess you could say.
Well, we could have had 8. However, one Clayton Keller, the Chesterfield, Missouri native, is actually having some fun with the Desert Dogs. He's got 26 points in 36 games, and I believe he's the leader in Rookie of the Year right now, and he's 19 years of age, and he was on the team last year, attended BU. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but he's having some fun in the National Hockey League, and, you know, you can't really blame him for not showing up for this tournament. Hey, Jake?
Yeah, as I said, this roster start off with 28 players, but you can only have 23 for the tournament. Today they cut Cole Holtz, Los Angeles Kings prospect out of Penn State, who was having a great year there, but didn't impress the coaches enough. And hey, tough competition when, unfortunately for these players, that's not the only cut that'll have to be made. You grind it out to get down to 23. They'll announce the final roster by December 23rd, but 2 defensemen, 2 forwards still have to be cut. Now, who would I predict to be cut? It's tough. Maybe Phil Kemp and Scott Perunovich on defense, Hugh McGing, and I'll go with the hot take and say Riley Tufte up front.
Oh, wow.
But not all as bad. On the good front, we named a captain, that being Joey Anderson, New Jersey Devils prospect, Roseville, Minnesota native, and UMD Bulldog.
Yeah, I like the selection. I feel like he's a leader, and you know, I did see some of the interview, and it seemed like he handled the media pretty well. And he talked about how he doesn't know everybody on the team, but he's trying to get to know everybody on the team. And in a short tournament, you can't really get to know every single solitary person. So, you know, he's not going to be the only leader. There's going to be a few different leaders, and he's just, you know, named the captain. I think he's a good choice, and you know, I think that's definitely a good choice.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good choice. He's been there before. He knows how this tournament works. You know, it's a team sport at the end of the day. So I think, you know, being named captain, it's definitely an honor. But at the end of the day, you're going to either win as a team or lose as a team. So.
Yeah, I love the Anderson choice. He's been one of my favorite players since he was with the U.S. National Team Development Program. An interesting factoid here. Anderson's little brother, Mikey, is a defenseman on this team. Now, while many other teams have great sibling pairs at the World Juniors, the U.S. has historically not had that. There have only been two in the previous history, that being Aaron and Neil Broughton in 1979 and Chris and Peter Ferraro in 1993. Those were both before any of the players on these teams, or me, or Tyler, were born.
Yeah, I remember Peter Ferraro. I also remember his brother Ray. You might know him from the NHL and TSN, or if you play EA Sports on NHL 17, 18,
Yeah.
he's in
No
between
relation there,
centuries.
my dude.
Yeah.
I like how Jake, just said him and Tyler. Yeah, I was born in '88, but it's okay. I'll let it slide. Us '80s babies got it made, so it's okay. Anyway.
At least you're not 30 yet, Kayla.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler, let's talk a little bit about the projected lines. Now, what I see it's going to be a tough competition in goal between Ottinger and Woll. Top defensive pairing looks like Ryan Lindgren and Adam Fox, the two returners, with maybe Quinn Hughes lurking behind a little bit. Top line, we don't know if Casey Middlestad's going to be a center or a left wing, but in USA hockey circles, the line of Middlestat, Logan Brown, and Kyler Yamamoto has some mythical proportions, has reached mythical proportions. If they want to keep Middlestat at center, maybe look for someone like Kiefer Bellows to be the top line left wing.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Yamamoto play, and I'm excited to see that Kachuk, Brown, Yamamoto line possibly, or the one that you said with Middlestat and Bellows as well. I think that Bob Motzko said that there's no lines really etched in stone for this team. He said that you might see the big line with Yamamoto and Middlestat on the same line, or you might see what you said as well. So I mean, I'm interested to see what's the line that really sticks out to you that could be a difference maker in a short tournament like this.
Yeah, a line. I'm not sure if it's been said, but a line I'd like to see if we keep Middlestat on the left wing would be an all Minnesotan line of Ryan Poehling at center, Kiefer Bellows on the left, Joey Anderson on the right. I think those players complement each other well. All like Bellows the scorer, Anderson or Poehling the passer, maybe Anderson sets up in front of the net. Middlestat, Brown, Yamamoto sounds pretty damn good to me, though. You think of Logan Brown at 6'6", Kyler Yamamoto at 5'7", and both of them have NHL experience.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good thing for Team USA, bringing some guys back that have already played in the National. And, they've had some success. Kyler Yamamoto was a guy that I thought was going to stay with the Edmonton Oilers, and I didn't even think he was going to end up being in this tournament. And
how much of a letdown, even though playing for Team USA is great, how much of a letdown is it from playing with Connor McDavid to playing with other 19 and 20-year-olds who aren't Connor McDavid?
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, it's crazy. But you know what? It is what it is. I think he'll stick out in this tournament, and, he's actually eligible to go back to the NHL, isn't he? Or no, he's not.
No, not this year.
Okay, that's right. So
next year.
But that's okay. An extra year of juniors never hurt anybody. So
I'm sure he'll take what he can get right now.
Exactly. I mean, I think he'd rather be playing for Team USA than not playing for Team USA. So
yeah, I mean, the shortest first-round draft pick in the history of the NHL. That's something.
So I just want to we'll just go around the room here real quick. So, Jake, what's a player you're excited to watch for Team USA?
I think this is the year American hockey fans finally get to know who Adam Fox is. He's not a first-round draft pick. He was drafted by the Calgary Flames in the third round because of his size. But with Zach Werenski gone, Charlie McAvoy gone, Fox is going to be the one carrying the minutes. 5'10", but great offensive producer, booming shot, and if he weren't at Harvard, which never loses players early, I think he could slot into the NHL next year.
Yeah, I agree. I have one follow-up question for you about the lineup itself. Who's going to be that Charlie McAvoy like anchor besides Fox? I mean, size-wise, because you said he's 5 foot. What did you
10.
say? 8, 10? Okay, yeah, 10. I mean, do you see that holding up for a while, or do you think someone else?
Yeah, the stay-at-home guy will be Ryan Lindgren from the University of Minnesota. He's not a major point producer, but he doesn't have to be. He can steady up the back end with Fox. He's probably a little taller. He's about 6 feet, 6'1".
And Kayla, who's someone you're excited to watch in this tournament for Team USA?
Well, anyone that knows me knows I like my hockey players a little bit on the gritty, edgy side. I mean, James Neal happens to be one of my favorite players. So, so with that being said, Brady Tkachuk, I am definitely excited to see him play. He definitely plays exactly like his brother, Matthew Tkachuk, who currently plays with the Calgary Flames. Again, he plays on an edge. Some might say a little too aggressively. Some might say it's borderline dirty or just plain nasty dirty. But you know what? I think we need a player like that in the lineup that'll, if they're having like a bad start to the game, a player that'll at least shake things up a bit just to get that motivation on their team. But the Tkachuk boys, they're definitely like their daddy, Keith Tkachuk, who is a former NHL player himself. So they're definitely exactly like him because he was definitely known as one of the biggest instigators of his time and his era. So I'm excited to see Brady Tkachuk. I want to see what he can do. I want to see if he can outdo his brother, maybe.
And if you're into that gritty side of the game, also check out Max Jones. He plays slap shot. I'm serious.
Okay, well, Max Jones, I'm definitely watching out for you too.
Yeah, to me, the guy that I look forward to watch, and I've seen a lot of them, at the University of Michigan, is Quinn Hughes. Is going to be a top pick in this year's draft, and obviously he's a good defenseman, and I've watched him, like I said, a lot at the University of Michigan. Adam Fox is another one because I liked him a lot on the last year's team, and I think he's going to have a lot more of a role this year. And then on the offensive side of the board, I think Casey Middlestad and Tyler Yamamoto, or Kyler Yamamoto, is another guy that I really like. I mean, like I said, I've seen a lot of him with the Oilers early on this year. He's playing with McDavid. And Middlestad, I've seen a few times. I believe it was the Minnesota-Wisconsin game, and I think the Minnesota-North Dakota game. Don't quote me on that, but there's a few games that I've seen him, and I like his game. And, he's the first-round pick of the Buffalo Sabres. So I'm really interested to see him. I haven't seen a whole lot of them. And then, obviously, Patrick Harper's my boy from Boston University, and I really like him. He's fast, and he can be gritty at times, and he scores goals. So I'm really interested to see him. So that's really what I have for players that I'm interested to watch. Now let's kick it off with the players that are draft eligible. Well, let's peel it back a little bit and talk about the top 2 prospects that NHL fans and Red Wings fans particularly drool over, and the defenseman prospect Rasmus Dahlin from the Sweden team and Andrei Svechnikov from the Russians. Jake, I want you to shed some light on what Rasmus Dahlin and Andrei Svechnikov would mean to a team, maybe not like the Red Wings, but a team in the middle of a rebuild. So, the Red Wings, the Coyotes, teams like that. Buffalo.
The Red Wings.
I'm 21 years old and I've only been following prospects for probably this decade. But what Connor McDavid was for forwards, and that being the best prospect anyone had ever seen, Rasmus Dahlin is the best defensive prospect I have seen in my lifetime. He is that good. Wings legend Nick Lidstrom said he reminded him of Brian Leetch. And that's pretty high compliment because Leetch is a Hall of Famer. But this guy, he can just do it all. You think of the great offensive Swedish defenseman, Lidstrom, Erik Karlsson. In today's game, maybe someone really exciting like John Klingberg of the Dallas Stars. Dahlin, you'll see him in the NHL next year, I guarantee it. Andrei Svechnikov, little brother of Yevgeny, a Wings prospect.
Yep.
He played last year for the Muskegon Lumberjacks of the USHL. Now he's playing for the OHL's Barrie Colts. He was injured a little bit earlier this season, but just recently came back. I think he's a really fun player. One of the rare cases where a draft-eligible winger is better than any draft-eligible center. And even if you don't get to those two, Quinn Hughes, Brady Tkachuk, both of them are going to be high draft picks. You know what they say about Quinn Hughes, 70% of the Earth's surface is covered by water, while 100% of the Earth's frozen water is covered by Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, Quinn Hughes is a hell of a player. Absolutely. And I'll be interested to see him a lot. So, Jake, do you want to start talking about the prospects for the 4 other countries?
Yeah, for the other countries that have a good chance at a gold medal. Well, let's start with the Finns. Miro Heiskanen, the 3rd overall draft pick from the Dallas Stars in the 2017 draft. He's returning this year. It might be his last, even though he's eligible to return next year. I know the Stars are really high on him. I am really high on him. He's playing for HIFK in the Finnish Liga. 9 goals, 5 assists, and a very good defensive player. Power play quarterback. You'll be seeing a lot of him in the USA-Finland game. For Sweden, besides Dahlin, who will obviously command a lot of attention, there's also Elias Pettersson, the 5th overall draft pick for the Vancouver Canucks, who is setting scoring records with the Växjö Lakers of the Swedish Hockey League. Already 35 points in 26 games. The guy is 19 years old. He is unreal, and I'm glad we don't face Sweden in the middle round because he would kick our asses. For Canada, I mean, obviously Canada gets a lot of really good players. We always talk about the talent that's missing because they're in the NHL. People like Nolan Patrick and Tyson Jost. But they did get one player returning from the NHL, Victor Mete, the Montreal Canadiens defenseman, who has played regular minutes with the team, already got 27 games in, but the Canadiens decided maybe let him try and gain some confidence at his own level. For Russia, I think he'll be fast draft. Chosen with the last pick of the first round, Klim Kostin, St. Louis Blues prospect. Although I don't get to see a lot of the Russian league, he is playing in the AHL with the San Antonio Rampage, and I have been very impressed in my first viewings of him. Honorable mention, if you think the Czech Republic has a chance, I'd recommend for the 2018 draft checking out Philip Zadina from the Halifax Mooseheads of the Quebec League, 46 points in 32 games. He might boost his stock and end up going in the top 3.
Very interesting. I do have one question for you, Jake, and I don't mean to keep you too long, but you talk about Team Canada. The player to watch for as a defenseman is Victor Mete of the Montreal Canadiens. But what about a forward for Team Canada for our viewers out there to watch out for?
Sure, I like Sam Steele, the last pick of the first round of the 2016 draft. He was one of the last cuts from last year's team. He was the Western Hockey League's MVP last year with 131 points in 66 games. Now he's 35 and 27. I think you'll see him with the Anaheim Ducks very soon, and he will probably be their top-line center.
Very interesting. Okay, so now we're going to go down to what none of us are good at, is prediction. So we're going to go with the gold, the silver, and the bronze. And I'm going to start with you, Kayla. Who's your gold, who's your silver, and who's your bronze?
Honestly, and this is just strictly guessing. This is not based on anything. Anything at all. Obviously, the homer in me, I can't go against Team USA. So Team USA's got to win gold back to back. I mean, I just think it would be very, very fun to watch this team win gold. Obviously, as an American, as a huge USA hockey fan, and as someone who desperately wants this sport to grow more and more and more, I would just love it if these boys could get it done. So we'll see. As for the silver and bronze, I mean, it's usually a toss-up between the same 5 or 6-ish countries every year when it comes to, who lands, first, second, and third. But I'm going to say Russia second, strictly because this is based purely on emotion because of the whole, what they're going through right now, Olympic-wise, with the whole doping scandal. I think these kids definitely have a lot of pressure on them. Because they are, even though players can play in the Olympics, at the same time, they can't really play for Russia. And this is the one tournament where, these hockey players can still play under the Russian flag, for the pride of Russia. And I really believe that, that might carry into this tournament. I think they're going to wear their hearts on their sleeves for this tournament. And it's do or die for them. These kids are going to want to, come out guns blazing. So watch out for Russia. And plus, Russia is always usually up there anyway. They're always really good talent-wise. So, and then third, bronze. Who's taking bronze? I guess it's hard to count Canada out. So I'm going to go with Canada. Again, though, this is strictly based on absolutely nothing. So, so that's my choices.
You got a tournament MVP pick?
Honestly, no. I guess I would honestly go with the Adam Fox, though. That's who I would go with. I mean, even though I know he plays defense, he reminds me of my former favorite tournament player, Colin White, who I'm going to miss seeing this year in the tournament. But yeah, I mean, he's just one of those players where you hear his name every year in the tournament when you're watching, and it sticks with you, And Colin White was that guy for me for such a long time until this year. So I'm just gonna go and say Adam Fox. Why not?
I like that. So I'm gonna take over now. My gold, and this is really tough because Team USA was really good last year. I'm gonna go with Team USA again. They're the favorites going into this tournament. They're on home ice. You got to defend the homeland. They've never won 2 in a row. So let's see if they can do that. I'm gonna go with Team USA as a gold. For the silver, I'm going to go with the Swedes. I think Elias Pettersson is going to be really, really, really good for the Swedes. And, they got some other really good players on that team. And then for bronze, you got to go with Canada. I don't think Canada is as strong as they've been in years past. Obviously, Team Canada emerges and they seem to be like a well-oiled machine, and they just pump players out of nowhere. But it doesn't feel to me like they have a Connor McDavid or obviously they don't have like a marquee player like they did in years past, Max Domi, players like that. So to me, Canada beat bronze because I think I think Sweden and I think the United States are better. I think Finland will also bounce back. They could end up with the bronze too, but Canada could also end up, with the silver as well, or gold. You know how this tournament is. You throw stuff against the wall and hope it sticks. It's a short tournament, and you got to get a lot of chemistry going. And then I guess my tournament MVP, I'm going to go with my boy out of BU, Jake Ottinger. I think he's going to play really good in this tournament. Me and Jake were talking before here that we thought if there was any goalie on Team USA or even in this tournament that could really flick his switch and shut her down, it could be Jake Ottinger out of the Boston University. So I think Ottinger would be my tournament MVP. Jake, what do you got?
I picked against the U.S. last year. Not doing that again. U.S. never won on home ice, never won back-to-back, certainly never won 3 medals in a row. Remember, they won bronze in 2016. They're doing this year. They're holding up the trophy. Captain Joey Anderson lifting the trophy up like this. You can't see me. Podcast. And they get a hard-fought either 1 goal or maybe overtime win over Finland, who bounces back in a big way from almost getting relegated last year. I really like Finland this year. I really like Sweden this year. So I believe Sweden leave, although Sweden has been lights out in the preliminary round and can't really get it. They haven't lost a game in the preliminary round in a decade, and yet only one gold medal to show for it. And I think they're going to have a tough semifinal loss to Finland, and they're going to end up going to the bronze medal game, and they're going to end up not playing motivated and getting shut out. Canada gets the bronze. My tournament MVP is Miro Heiskanen of Finland, even though he plays in the silver medal winning team. Defensemen don't usually win this award. Thomas Chabot did last year, but I like Heiskanen that much. If there's an American MVP, let's say Ottinger as well.
Otter.
And just for you guys that don't know, Thomas Chabot, another player that is playing in the National Hockey League, this one for the Ottawa Senators. So this tournament is tremendous. You get to see a lot of NHL talent, and soon you do end up seeing them in the NHL. And then, watching this tournament, you say, hey, I remember that guy with the Team USA jersey, or this guy. I mean, one guy that sticks out is Leon Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl played on a miserable Team Germany team, and he was literally the only good player on the team. And the kid shined. The kid really shined. And you never forget that. And now Leon Draisaitl gets a big contract with the Edmonton Oilers. So watch the tournament. I'm telling you, watch the tournament. You'll never regret it. You're not going to waste your time. It's good hockey, even if the scores are high. But the stakes are high right away. Right when you drop the puck, the players are ready to go. This is a short tournament. And the other thing that you should know about this tournament, too, is because this is E.J. Raddick said this back in 2013. This is a short tournament, right? But it's also one of the tournaments that if you're down 3-0 in the first period, it's not over because these are kids. There's a lot of momentum swings. And things do change very quickly, Jake, and you know that. Now, I just want to get your quick thoughts on Team Russia and also on Team Canada. What do you think of those two clubs?
Canada's got a lot of deep talent. This might be their deepest defense pool in years, pending on whether Dante Fabro is available. And got a great goalie in Carter Hart. But they don't have the game breaker. They don't have a McDavid or from last year, a Dylan Strome or Matt Barzal. And
by the way, another person that's playing in the NHL, and very well, might I add, Matt Barzal.
Who's going to take the initiative for Canada? And if the answer is no one, then that's not going to bode well for them. Russia, we don't get to see a lot of the Russian players that much being here in the States. I mean, they don't have Kirill Kaprizov this year, but they end up getting Klim Kostin, who's a very good player. But is it his time yet? He's eligible for next year. Is he ready to take that step? Is he ready to be a leader? Who's going to step up in goal now that Ilya Samsonov is gone? A lot of questions there. They're definitely capable of winning, but they're also capable of bowing out in the quarterfinals. So we'll see.
Do you have a dark horse?
Yeah, I mean, the Czech Republic is a stronger team than they have in a long time. So I wouldn't count them out for making a surprise semifinal run, bronze medal run.
Now, I'm not sure if you have an answer to this, and it's just a question because I know Switzerland has been pretty good in the past, and it's an up-and-coming hockey nation. Any names that we should look for on Team Switzerland?
Well, there's no Nico Hischier this time around because even though he's eligible for this and next year's tournament, he is in the NHL. One guy I'd recommend watching for Switzerland is a 2018 draft prospect on defense who was there at last year's tournament named Nico Gross. He is on the Oshawa Generals of the OHL, and I think he might improve his draft stock being the best player on an otherwise very undermanned Swiss team.
The Swiss compete, though, don't they? It seems like them and the Danes, even if they're not the best team at the tournament, they go there and they compete. They compete each and every shift, and you know what? That's tough, especially on a team like Team USA or Team Canada or the Russians or the Swedes. That's going to be tough. I mean, those teams come and they compete shift after shift after shift, and if you're not ready to go, they're ready to go. They're going to beat you. So that's what sticks out to me about this tournament. Do we have any other things to add, Kayla? You have anything to add?
I would just like to add, I would like to touch up on exactly what you said. I remember last year, I believe it was Denmark, that they were trying so hard, I believe, I forgot exactly what they were trying to like win, or I think they were about to get into the preliminaries. They had a chance, and I think they lost out to a team like just at the last moment. And then that same goes for Switzerland, I believe 2 years ago. I remember Switzerland came out and they were just like hitting every single thing, and I'm thinking, whoa, I thought Switzerland was supposed to be neutral here, and and yeah, they're just come out, like I don't know, like is dominant. And I do believe that even though as much as I'm a huge homer in this tournament, I do love seeing stories when it comes to these nations and these other countries that are also, up and coming hockey countries. We can't forget that hockey isn't a sport that just remains in North America only. It's not just for Canada. It's definitely not just for USA or Russia, or Sweden or Finland. So I like seeing the underdog stories. It's such a short tournament that no miracle stories will ever really prevail, in my opinion. I don't think we will see a miracle story, but if it's nice to see them come a long way. Put it that way. It's nice to see them go as far as they can, and to see like you said, Draisaitl, he stuck out, on Team Germany. And so it's nice to see these players. And we remember these players even on the losing teams for like
Martin on Slovakia.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's countless names we could like sit here and name off from the losing teams of the years past, whether they be American, Canadian, Czech Republic, Slovakian, Finn, it doesn't matter. But that's what I just really enjoy about this tournament is the fact that, these names will stick with you for a really long time if you're a huge, huge hockey fan. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, I wish I had an exact stat for you right now. But, I mean, just thinking of names in the National Hockey League, Ivan Provorov played for Team Russia. Gostisbehere played for that Team USA in 13.
Yeah.
You have, like I said, Seth Jones, who played on the team in 13. You have Charlie McAvoy, who played on last year's team, is in the NHL. Matt Barzell was on Team Canada last year. You could just keep going. Dylan Larkin played for Team USA. Austin Matthews played for Team USA.
Austin Matthews and Matt Tkachuk, I remember, were like the great like duo. When they played,
Yep.
And they lost, they didn't even win gold, but you still remember those, you remember those moments. That's what's great about this tournament. Even when your team loses, you remember like certain things about that tournament or certain things about that team or those players, and it lasts forever with you if you're a huge hockey fan. I mean, it's a great tournament. Like you said, no one should miss it. No one. There's no excuse to miss this tournament unless you just cannot afford to watch it on cable or the NHL Network if you just cannot watch it like that. But other than that, you should watch it.
Like I said, this is a tournament. I don't know what it is, but it's really special. I said, you seem to see players in the NHL either the year after or 2 years after. And like, oh yeah, I remember that guy played for such and such team. And it sticks with you for a while. And there's moments that last a lifetime, like the shootout. I believe it was 2000. Jake, was it 2007?
2007.
2007. Carey Price, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, now teammates in Chicago. So there's all kinds of things that you can go back to, and you can obviously watch YouTube videos and everything if you don't believe us. The hockey is unbelievable, and then you end up not knowing a damn person when you go into this.
Right.
you get it one game in, and you're like, oh my god, this guy's unbelievable. I need to follow.
That is so true.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things that I've kind of lost out on since I've started following the team since the summer. But it's definitely a great moment when you look at someone and we're like, oh, who's this guy? I've never watched him before.
Right, and there's just nothing better than this tournament besides the Stanley Cup playoffs, in my opinion, and in the Olympics. But it's every 4 years, so you get this every Christmas time or thereafter, and it's really special. Yeah, that's right. So, do we have anything else, guys?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just really excited, and I think this is the year we can finally win again. Like, I remember guaranteeing on Twitter in September last year that we would win the gold medal in 2017. So,
what does this guy think he is, Seth Jones, or what?
I don't know. The World Juniors created some great memories for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, last year I even got my parents to watch.
It's unbelievable because it feels like every year it's growing more and more. I was talking with Jake before, and we're going to shut this down here in a few minutes, but I was talking to Jake before this, and when I first started watching this tournament in 2004 or 2003, it was a tournament that was played in more smaller arenas, and yeah, sure, the Canadian fans would come out and they'd be there, but it wasn't what it is right now. They're playing in NHL arenas now, and they played in Montreal and Toronto, and they still go overseas and everything, but I feel like the bulk of this tournament is played in bigger arenas now, and it feels like on social media it's huge now with the war between Team USA and Team Canada.
Definitely.
It's unbelievable the feeling you get to watch Team USA raise a gold medal. Now, we wish we could see that in the Olympics. We're not going to get into that. We can have a whole nother discussion about that at some other point in time, which we will not have right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll even take a women's gold medal. That's been too long since that happened as well.
I agree. They were close in was it 2010 or 14?
2014. Yeah, that's for another time. For me,
Again,
U.S. World Juniors in 2011, and also in Buffalo, and the place was overrun with Canadian fans. Now it'll still probably have a lot of Canadian fans, but not nearly as many.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of Team Canada fans because they like to make the trip. They like to be shit disturbers.
Buffalo's right over the border.
It is what it is. It's close.
I think
one of the biggest cities in Canada is like an hour and a half away from Buffalo in Toronto, so it's close. I mean, there's going to be Canadian fans there. I just hope that since the Buffalo Sabres aren't doing that great, and Buffalo is a huge hockey market, I think it'd be interesting to see if there's going to be a lot of support for Team USA there. I'm hoping so, and I'm really thinking so, but it'll be interesting to see.
I think there will be. I think there'll be more support, more so now than in years past, put it that way. I mean, I don't know how much more that will be, but I mean, I'm hoping. I'm definitely hoping because, I mean, like I said earlier in the show, one of the things I really want to see is just the sport grow. I know it'll never be as popular as it is in Canada. That is hockey, but I mean, at the same time, there's nothing wrong with growing the sport more and more and more. There's nothing wrong with it. So,
like, what people said about American hockey players in the past was the 3 M's: Minnesota, Michigan, Massachusetts. That's not really the case anymore. You got players from
Arizona, Austin Matthews.
Yeah, Austin Matthews. On this team, you got a player from Florida, Andrew Peak. You got a player from Spokane, Washington, Kyler Yamamoto. You got a lot of St. Louis players. So
it's a big hockey market now, isn't it?
Not a huge non-traditional influence right now, but there are a lot of players coming from Florida, from Texas, from California, from Colorado,
Ohio now too. Seems like it's growing slowly but surely. I mean, like I said before, I played on a junior team, and I believe 12 out of 20 kids were from California, and the rest were from the 2 goalies we had were from Texas.
That's awesome.
And I think the other 3 or 4 were, there was one from Spokane, Washington. There's one kid from Florida, and then there was one Russian kid. But it's really interesting. It's really interesting how the sport has grown and just continues to grow. But before we go off on a tangent, guys, I want you guys to plug your Twitter handles, and then maybe we'll get back together after this tournament is starting to unravel, and maybe we'll do another one of these. We seemed to have fun with it last year. Hopefully we can do either a wrap-up show or maybe a in-between show, maybe like before a gold medal game or something like that.
Maybe we can do something on New Year's Day and see where things have gone. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that would definitely be interesting. All right, so Jake, I want to have you plug your Twitter handle, please, if you can.
Sure. I'm Baskin Case, BASKINCASE. Always looking for more followers.
Give them more follows.
And Kayla, where can we find your stuff?
You can find me at K Loves Red Wings, LUVS for the loves part. Everyone knows my name by now, I would think. If you haven't, where have you been? And I just want to say thanks for having me back on the show. It was a lot of fun.
Well, this is your show. This isn't just my show. This is all of our shows here. So. You can follow me at Twitter at Tyler_Seeley. I had to think about that for a second. You can follow the Winged Octopus on Twitter at Winged Octopus. You can also follow us on Instagram, Winged Octopus. You can also like us on Facebook as well. Also, you can check out the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. We're actually working on, I forget what the, oh, jeez. Okay, anyways, you can find us at all of those places. And you can also subscribe to our podcast, like us on there, and everything like that. However, guys, everybody stay classy and go Team USA. Jake, I really appreciate you coming on here. Kayla, you as well. And go Team USA, guys. Have a good night.
Go USA.